Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got a very speedy review of the Civivi Mini Shakan. This knife is available. I will link it down in the description. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks so much to Civivi for sending it in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. And make sure your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. So when I unboxed this knife, I said, I kind of wish it was bigger. And then immediately after the upload, I was like, oh, of course, this is the Mini Shakan. There's probably a full-size Civivi Shakan. Close. There's a Wii Shakan. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Maybe I'm wrong. You guys can tell me. There's a Wii Shakan. I can't remember if I reviewed it or not. I'm still kind of in the same boat there. I like this. I think Civivi should also do the full-size one. I'll say that right off the bat. Though there are plenty of people who just like a smaller knife. This is definitely what in the realm of what I would consider mini or office carry, dress occasion carry, right? Good church knife, good golf knife, whatever. It's in that category. So if that's what you're looking for, you might stick around because this is pretty cool. And you can get the fancy version. This is the fancy 9CR, 10CR, basically a VG10 core, a Chinese equivalent VG10, 10CR, right? Core, San Mai, right? And it's still fairly inexpensive. The standard version of this knife is Nitro V and comes in at, I believe, $62, which isn't bad because Nitro V tends to be, of the budget steels, one of the more expensive ones. So I'll link this down in the description, all the different variations. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's up to you. But yeah, ultimately, I think this is a good, straightforward, I hate using this word, gentleman's carry, simple EDC pocket knife. Let's go ahead and measure it so you guys can get a good idea of what size this is. It's really not a complicated item, so it shouldn't be too long of a video. 6 inches, just shy actually, 5.95 or so. Blade length 2.5, so we are under 3. The other reason, of course, some people might, go for something like this is because of laws in their area, blade length laws. So we have a 3-inch blade law. Well, here you go, 2.25 inches on the cutting edge. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. Any custom scales you find in this section can be found down in the description under Original Goat and others. Up against the 80-10 and my own Excalibur, completely dwarfed. But these are 8.5-inch knives. They're much larger. Let's put it up against the, where are you, bud? There you are. I swear that thing grows legs and runs off between videos. Spyderco PM2 and the Spyderco Para 3. Even the Para 3 just absolutely monstrous compared to it. Cutting edge though, no. This is a rare situation where I'm actually like, even the cutting edge on the Para 3 is substantially more. And then finally, let's put it up against the Benchmade Griptilian, or in this case, sorry, this is the Ritter Hogue, and this is the Hogue Deca. It's little. It's a little guy. Do I have a... Here's another little guy from Civivi. Baby Banter. It is bigger than the Baby Banter. So there you go. How's the action? Well, the action is exceptional. Now, this is a plunge lock, right? And we are, as a community, we're kind of phasing out of plunge locks because we've realized that plunge locks were just interesting because you got to push a button to disengage the lock. The downside of plunge locks is that they're typically, unless they're very well done, like Civivi and Wii, I think arguably have the best, like the most high quality. I mean, look at this detent. The plunge is the detent. That's ridiculous. For a plunge lock, usually it feels like stuffing your fist into a can of wet Pringles. Like that's what it feels like to close a button lock knife, usually. It's very soggy. This, I mean, that is crisp. Wow. It actually feels great as a flipper and as a thumb stud deployer. The problem is that these little knives, you see what I had to do there? I adjusted, then adjusted again to get it into position because my hands want to do this. Like every time I'm like, want to throw it, every single time I'm deploying it. The easiest way to deploy this knife is with the flipper tab. If you choose to use the thumb studs, it's easier. My hands are in a better position to reverse flick it. If I want to thumb flick it, I have to adjust the knife up so that I can engage those thumb studs properly. It's slightly annoying, but that's just because of the size of the knife. If you have smaller hands, it won't be the same way. Or if you just prefer smaller knives, maybe you will have adapted to some of these things a little bit better. But the detent created by the plunge lock is very, very good. Disengaging the plunge lock results in incredibly smooth action. Yes, it's just a boring plunge lock, but my goodness, does Civivi do it really, really well. I got to give them credit. It's awesome. I cannot believe Civivi has not gone full send on a button-operated top liner lock, compression lock, whatever. I cannot believe that they have not adopted that. You would think that one of the most popular companies at this price point would have adopted it first. It seems like every other company out there is doing their own version of that locking system, which is, if everybody does it right, I've been cautioning a lot of companies, when you do that, you need the appropriate amount of lock bar tension and the appropriate geometry to make sure that people gain the benefit of a compression lock or top liner lock or whatever it is that they end up calling it. They are slightly different, right? But yeah, I'm really surprised that Civivi is still going. And probably, and here's the reality of it is, probably because Civivi does so well that they don't really have to. But I think eventually they will have to at least explore other options. But this is a really nice plunge. It feels really, really good. So action, good. Carry profile. This is an incredibly compact, lightweight, and thin pocket knife. A little thinner than the Para 3. Length and height up against the PM2 and the Para 3. Well, it's itty bitty. Very, very, very comfortable to carry. It's a little, we're getting a little Dr. Seuss with this. If you put it in your pocket, there's a good chance you'll forget it's there. So just be aware of that. Materials. What are we looking at for materials? Well, in this case, it's aluminum. The texture pattern on this is like, I think it was like the putter texture from, was it Oz Machine Company or whatever? Yeah, it was like the putter texture, I think is what they called it. Very classy, looks good. Net actually creates meaningful traction as well. Aluminum, anodized aluminum, and in this case we have the Chinese equivalent VG10 core San Mai, which is, it'll probably perform like 154 cm, honestly. Like it probably is going to perform very similarly to VG10 or 154 cm. So, good, right? Let's go ahead and weigh it. It weighs 1.9 ounces. Seriously, you're going to have to check your pockets every day you carry this thing, because you will forget that it's there. Let's do a hardware check. I'll get out my tools as per usual. My tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use on this channel. Civivi, a long time ago, just sort of transitioned everything to T8 screws, except for the pocket clip, which is fine. And that is great. Everything is T8, no complaints there. Minimal hardware. As long as you have the right tools for the job, you should be good to go. Let's go ahead and measure the blade stock thickness. Alrighty, super thin, might be, it is 89 thousandths. Thin, thin, thin. Meat and potatoes time. This is straightforward. It's almost like a tiny ProTech Malibu. Very, very safe, traditional lines for the handle scales. I kind of wish that the flipper tab wasn't there, but then again, the flipper tab is the easiest thing to deploy this knife with. I like the reverse flick, right? And let me point this out. Good job on those thumb studs. You know, nothing makes a little tiny knife more frustrating than just a little sharp 90-degree angled thumb studs that are too small, like a little elf cap, you know, like it's just, I hate that. It drives me nuts. Love these. I think they're excellent. The fit and finish on this knife is just spectacular. I mean, yeah, Civivis tend to cost more than, you know, their competition when they're working with the same materials, but anybody who's handled a lot of budget knives, like, we all come to the same conclusion. Civivi makes a better budget knife. Like, their knives do actually feel higher quality. You know, I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how long they can remain to feel better than their competition. I still think that they charge a little too much, but I'd be lying if I said that they didn't feel different. It's really small. It's a 3-finger knife, right? The jimping's functional. The lock-in is good. Traction on the texturing is good. It looks good. I mean, this is a listen, even if you didn't know anything about pocket knives, somebody pulls this out, you know, like, let's say your office is knife friendly. Somebody pulls this out to whatever, cut open a package, open an envelope. Ooh, that's a nice little pocket knife you got there, you know? And it is. It's not a little cheapy nothing pocket knife. This is nice. Flat ground, super thin edge, easy to maintain. Stainless San Mai, both 9CR and 10CR. I think one is, it might be the 10CR, I think, is actually more stainless, but maybe I'm wrong. Nice little tip. Obviously not a hard use knife, no. But a knife that will make short work of simple daily tasks, which is exactly what it is designed for. This is a fully flat ground blade. The flat literally ends right here. The jimping just extends slightly past it. I kind of like that they didn't go hyper polished here with this sanmai. Some of their sanmai is almost like mirror reflective in contrast with the acidy areas. I'm kind of glad that they didn't. I would also love it if Civivi would explore a zero etch or like a double polish where you have no dark zones and the entire thing is polished. They just do a deep etch so that you can still make out those, those lower stainless, composition in the layers, and then the entire thing is polished. I think that would go over very, very well for people looking at knives at this price point. But this looks very, very good. I like it a lot. If you want to know what I'm talking about, look up the Knoll Knives Vandal, the launch exclusive edition with the crystal titanium. You can look at the blade on it. I have a video on it as well. But the super version of that knife has a double polish deep etch or zero etch finish on it. So anyways, we have mounting positions for both left and right-handed people. Clip is a little long, but that's because Civivi just recycled the exact same clip they put on everything, which is fine. It's a little grabby, I mean, expect it to get hooked onto things and bent out. It doesn't really cause much of a problem ergonomically because you're never going to be in a position where you have to grip this thing insanely hard, right? Not typically, right? I mean, if you're in that situation, you need to swap your knife and use something that's more appropriate. We have a lanyard bar, which is fine. I think that's way better than a lanyard hole. A couple of standoffs there. You also have a big slot on the clip, which you can attach a lanyard to if you really want to. Probably have to use it smaller. I don't know if 550. You might be able to smash some 550 in there, but this rides right on top of the tech string, and the tech string is not aggressive, but it's enough that it'll probably fray your pants up over time, so just be cognizant of that. And then we have that detent for that. Listen. God, they have tuned that so well. Crazy. Stop pin. Little tiny bar. It's fine. It doesn't need to be thicker. A little shouldering. No blade play. Up, down, left to right. Tiny bit of stick, but it'll go away. It's a button lock. Bearings. Very smooth and consistent, especially if you push down on that button. I mean, woo, that is very smooth. Wonderful detent. Perfectly centered. Is it? Yeah. And no detent lash whatsoever, which is still uncommon for a button lock. Really impressive. I want exactly this, but I want it the size of the original Shakan as well. I think that'd be great. I think people would really enjoy that. Such a beautiful, classy little pocket knife. In a world where we have a sea of those at our disposal. A lot of them actually Civivi makes. Is this knife worth buying? Well, it's $62, right? So between the $40 and $60 territory in the knife world, you have a lot of choices. If you like this knife and you go ahead and buy it, have you made a bad choice? No. I think Civivi just charges a little. I'm not talking about the Sanmai one. I'm talking about the standard Nitro V variation. This one costs a lot more. It's probably like 90 or something. I don't know. There'll be links in the description. The base version is what we judge it on. And $62 is an okay price tag, right? I think I would have been way more impressed at $50, but I can understand why it's not there, right? Just because it's smaller doesn't mean that they can charge $30 for it and expect that to be a really valuable part of their lineup, right? It is a cool knife. I don't think you have made a bad purchase at $62. I think it's fine. There are a million other things like this. Civivi has many of them in their lineup. I would love for them to make a bigger one. I would love to go alongside this, not to replace it, to go alongside it. I think it's a really classy looking knife. So in a general sense, this is a cheap knife I like. It is under $75. It's a good knife. You have lots and lots and lots of choices. I don't think that this should be anybody's number one choice, but it is certainly not a bad choice. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.